Here's the thing about design. It's more than a collection of pretty rooms or just some trendy products. It's about how everything works together. Good design is always about context.
Hi, I'm Karen Hattan, interior designer and founder of Home by Hattan. And joining me is my husband and general contractor, Mark Hattan. After over a decade in the industry, we've noticed that many people share similar fears or misconceptions about what it's like to work with an interior designer or a contractor. That's why Mark and I created this Designer Trust series. Our goal is to pull back the curtain and demystify the experience of working with a designer or contractor. We'll show you how we work at Home by Hattan and explain why you can trust our process to deliver beautiful, tailored results. Join us as we answer your most burning questions and concerns through our Designer Trust series.
It's about how everything works together to create a home that flows, that functions, and that feels complete. Sometimes when you come into your own home, you may feel like something's off and you're not really sure what it is. And so you may go buy a cute lamp somewhere or decide you're going to replace your curtains. And then you go into the next room and that looks completely different than this other room. You walk into another room and it looks completely different and feels different than the room you were just in. But really there's no big plan, there's no cohesive plan. And you can go to a designer to just replace your curtains, for instance, but what we bring to the table is that whole home vision, bringing all the pieces together so that when you walk in, you feel, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I had in mind. This feels good to me. This goes with this, and then it all works. We know the vendors, we know the products, and we really do work to bring a very harmonious feel to your project.
I sometimes have, a lot of times I have friends or people who know I'm a contractor, and they'll say, hey, can you help me do this one thing at my house? Maybe it's, I want to put up some cabinets, or I want to paint a room or something. And sometimes it's just not that simple. You know, I could do this for you, but how does it reflect going into the other rooms? What are you doing here that's going to affect the other parts of the house that this room is connected to? And so that's why I want them to always refer to Karen, like, before you do this, make sure you're not doing, like what Karen said, making rooms that are kind of disjointed. You want to make sure they all are pulled together, not just doing one small thing in a room and then hoping that the end result is good. Somebody with vision to see the whole thing, trained to do that, will really be a good investment.
And we are trained to do that. We are trained to know how one piece affects the next, how one decision affects the next. For instance, when we get asked all the time, what's a good paint color? Honestly, we gotta make sure it works with your home and what you have and your lighting, and there's just a lot more to it than just a paint color. People try to piece together their own design project or renovation project, or they hire separate vendors on their own and try to manage it. They end up with very disjointed spaces and sometimes disappointment or even costly mistakes. We love to help. That's when we step in. We lead with strategy, sequencing, cohesion, and we ensure that all your rooms flow together beautifully, one into the next, and even within the room, if all the design elements work together. And because we have our own in-house GC, you don't have to juggle installers or schedules or wonder who's accountable. We can handle it all start to finish.
Yeah, designing and renovating a home is like conducting an orchestra. If every instrument doesn't come in at just the right time, paint colors and furniture and lighting and the construction itself, and without that coordination, it doesn't sound like a symphony, it just sounds like noise. And with our 10 plus years of experience, our vetted trades and vendors, and the proven systems that we have, that means you can relax knowing that everything is handled by experts. You can trust that we'll only recommend selections that have been vetted for quality, function, and long-term value. And our role isn't to recommend things to inflate our budget, but we're trying to protect your budget by offering things that give long-term value, be something that is an investment and an asset to you in the renovation process.
We recently did a multi-room home renovation when we rearranged rooms and their functions, and then we filled it with furnishings and window treatments and all of that to support their lifestyle and to make that cohesive vision come to life. Our client told us that they finally felt like their home made sense, because for the first time, every room worked together. Each room flowed into the other, and it just felt really good to them. When you trust the plan and trust the process, that's when the magic happens. Your home becomes beautiful, cohesive, harmonious, and it's executed with skill and care. Thank you for joining us through this series. Our goal is simple: to show you what happens when you trust not only the design, but the designers behind it and the whole process. If you're ready to start your own journey, please reach out to us. We would love to jump on a discovery call with you. All you have to do is go to the website and click schedule a call with Karen, and we can talk through your hopes and dreams.
Yeah, and if you want to learn more about any of these other topics, or what it's like to work with a designer, or what it's like to go through a renovation process, we have some blog links and resources available. Feel free to give us a call if you have any questions.
Because when you trust the process, you get more than a beautiful home. You get a home that truly makes you feel wonderful, beautiful, and elevates your quality of life in every way.